just about that time. Take it easy, Drac. We've got this. We've revealed new things before. It's not that big a deal. It'll be just like Monday was. Except now the full model's viewable. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't even sweat a thing. There's nothing to worry about in the slightest. It's just a simple model reveal. Hey, Mitsuko, what's up? Welcome in. Thank you for the happy anniversary. Hope that you are doing well tonight. Don't mind me. I'm just waiting for a second before showing off my new model. Oh, I'll need to remember to update my Twitch about after this stream too. Ah, crap! What did I click? I clicked off something. Okay, we're good. We're fine. I didn't break anything. I didn't break anything. It's all good. I just shifted what layer something was on here. Yeah, yep. I've been doing this for 4 years. I'm practically a professional at this point. All right. Oh boy. I don't suppose that there's too much point in being cheeky and secretive with the new model. You guys have been seeing the silhouette for, what, a month or two now? While I was trying to hit that 200 Twitch follower goal. Unfortunately, we did not quite make it to that, but with this being my 4-year streaming anniversary, I figured that it was about time that we... Oh, jeez. That was a mild bit of a bug out, wasn't it? But I figured that since today's the 4-year streaming anniversary, that even if we hadn't hit the milestone, that I'd go ahead and reveal the full new model today. So here I am. New, fully updated, and non-chibi Drac is here. With a... Oh, thank you, Mitsuko. Yeah, I think that my new model mom, Waifu Pixel, did a fantastic job with this. She was really great to work for. She did this super freaking quick, and I don't even know from, like, this point, unless I zoom in. Here, I'll zoom in to get you guys a closer look. But as her name suggests... Oh, not that. But... Ah! Quit clicking the wrong thing, Drac. You're messing it up. No. This entire model is actually animated pixel art. And I think she did a beautiful job with it. I'm glad to hear you guys like it. I do think that the horn wiggle is maybe a little bit too pronounced when I talk, but I did specify that I wanted her to give, like, shifts to the horns when I talk, since they are supposed to be mobile, and hopefully when I next update my 3D model, I will be able to have horn motions that tie into my expressions. But That is literally my only thing that I have that's even close to anything but complete and abject adoration for this model. The look, the pose, the design she did for my wings and tail are all awesome. I love it so much. So you guys will probably be seeing this model a lot. Although, I will probably... Do I even still have it in my... No, I remember, I did remove it. The model swap tag that I used to have in my... For points that we used to have, that I used to use during my 3D model to switch between my model and Crim's model. I will probably add in a new version of that to switch between this one and my present chibi model, in case you guys would want to be able to swap me back and forth between those. Speaking of Crim, I showed this off to her, and she loves the way that it looks too. So I'm thinking, potentially at some point in the not too distant future, I may reach out to Waifu Pixel again when she next opens commissions to see about getting one made for Crim as well. Yep, chibi. Well, I mean, you guys have seen my chibi all the time. It's this one. It's the one I've been using. It's me, hello. Except the chibi model is so much bigger than any other model that I have. He's just a lad. But yeah, I absolutely love this new pixel art model. She even incorporated my belt buckle from my original, oh, what's the word? My original concept art that wound up not getting translated to most of my later stuff, and she wound up incorporating that into it too. I love how it looks. The wings, the tail. She kept my horns looking like headphones like I wanted them to. It all just looks so good, man. I am so happy with this. Hey, Sean! Thank you for dropping by, man. Thank you, homie. I hope that you have a great stream tonight. Thank you for taking the time to drop by and say hello. Does the new model take up more or less space on my PC? Probably more, given that it's a fully animated pixel art piece. And she gave me several different versions of it for use in different programs. So I'd be willing to bet that the new pixel art takes up more space on my PC. I was just talking when it comes to the chibi that the image itself is bigger. Cause see, boy, I am a dragon with a big head. Boy, with a big head. Sorry, I'm sitting here still just staring at my own model now. I've been doing this for like the past 2 months, getting ready for this, and every time I boot open this model, I just sit there and stare at it and smile. It looks so good, man. So I think that with this, I've got a pretty well locked down design to send out for other pieces in the future. Which, speaking of, there may or may not, it all depends on how long it takes to get done, but hopefully come September, we will have 1 or 2 art piece reveals of Dracone and Crimson together, since I will be taking about a week off from streaming in mid-September, because Crimson and I are going to be going on an early trip for our anniversary this year. And I actually do have an art piece from her that I've had for quite a while that needs to be properly revealed, so I think that around that time will be the best time to reveal that as well. So definitely stay tuned and stick around to see more of that. Oh, that's right. I forgot that I do, with this model, technically have another expression on it for when I blink that Waifu Pixel threw in completely for free. So I do have a like eyes closed version of it, but the rate at which I blink it completely desyncs with the blinking already on the model. And I mean, you guys have seen me with my 3D model before. The way that I blink and my eyes are, I'm not exact. One could say the usual way that I hold my eyes is squinting. So with my 3D model, I'm sure you guys have seen, either in my reaction videos or in my older streams, that my 3D model closes its eyes a lot. And I wanted you guys to be able to see my beautiful purple eyes on this model, and since Waifu Pixel already animates blinking onto it, I don't think that I'll be using the closed eyes look very much, but like, look at my eyes. Look at what a nice shade of purple they are. Don't you just want to offer up your soul to me? I promise it's for nothing nefarious. Simple world domination things. That's it. But I do think that... Oh geez, I'm shrinking. And you know, it's not very often that you guys actually get to get this much of a look at my background cave. Well, crypt, actually. But don't get too used to it, because it's not going to be there for much longer anywho. Because we have tonight's tier list to get into, and of course my frickin' tail is in the way. I'm not gonna... You know, I'll stay about here. Gotta apologize to Sharon and Ridiel for covering them up with my tail, but you'll see them when they get their places, you know? Oh, and of course, because I was talking about this on Monday, too, I'm sure you guys can hear in the background the... Oh. Nope, there it is. It's still playing. But you guys can hear the RimWorld music in the background. And I was complaining on Monday about how it wasn't playing when I was out here. I have no idea if maybe it heard my complaints, but it's working tonight. Although, unfortunately for you, RimWorld, I have more fitting music that we need to be playing over this.
Correct your posture.
Because we have Unicorn Overlord music to be playing. Hey, Zero, what's good, man? Thank you for the stretch. And hydrate, buddy. How are you doing tonight, man? Doing alright? That's good to hear, buddy. Ah, but alright. I think that we're all squared in here. Oh. Just did the Wuchien raid, and Pokemon randomly ran into a shiny Petville. Hey, nice shiny grab, man. I wonder though, in Scarlet Violet, can you turn it into a Hisuian Lilligant, or do you have to like game transfer for that? Honestly, just curious. I prefer regular Lilligant to the Hisuian one, but still, you guys know me. Thought pops to my mind, I have to act on it. Okay, probably a minimum transfer. Okay. Well, it's because I know that they showed off, when Scarlet and Violet came out, they showed off, like, Hisuian Zoroark was somehow obtainable in it. Though that was probably a transfer thing as well. But alright, I pulled together a tier list here of all of the waifus in Unicorn Overlord. And there are a couple of options on here that make me raise my brow, because this isn't all just the romanceable characters either. Wait, hang on. This is... Oh, not that. One second, I think that the music's a bit too loud. There we go. And I'm not going to make the same mistake that I did on Monday and accidentally flash my entire YouTube tab. But, okay. So I think that... Now, for some of these characters, I did have to go back and refresh... yes, a hooter. Yeah, we'll talk about the owl lady when we get to her. Although, funny enough, Zero, she actually does not fall into the category of lady that I was talking about that are not romanceable. She actually is a romanceable character. But I went through earlier today to refresh myself on some of the characters, since it has been almost a year since we played through the game. And honestly, I'm getting to the... I may need to make a purchase. Zero, wait. Because of that... But I went back through to refresh myself on some of the characters, because it's been... No. Because it's been a while since we last played. And, you know, looking into the game again and booting it back up on my Switch, I do kind of want to replay it again at some point. Though, it probably won't be this year, because on Friday, you guys have already seen on the schedule that we're starting a new game. We're starting Subnautica on Friday. Now, in regards to Subnautica, to detract from the present focus again, I know that there has been a lot of like drama going on online surrounding Subnautica 2, and one of the big reasons why I wanted to do Subnautica 1 on the channel was so that Loix and I could pick up Subnautica 2 and play it together after it comes out. But regardless of the drama that's been surrounding Subnautica 2, I have wanted to play the first Subnautica for a long time. And with it being smack in the middle of summer here, I felt like the ocean-based game would be perfect. So that's why we are going to go ahead and play it anyway. and we'll just have to see how things pan out in regards to playing the second one. Because trust me, there are plenty of survival games out there for me to grind and sink God knows how many hundreds of hours into with my friends. But okay, I have rambled and yabbered long enough, so let's get into the Unicorn Overlord official, completely objective and non-opinionated waifu tier list here. And we're actually starting off with a character who is not romanceable, but is one of the characters in the game, which there are a few, that are kind of in a weird situation, because Alcina is the former court mage of the player character Elaine's parents. She betrays your mother at the beginning of the game, and is a major antagonist for, I think, like the first 2 or 3 acts of the game. And you find out later into the plot lines dealing with her that she actually had a thing.
Correct your posture.
Character. Tungsten, what's good, homie? Thank you for the stretch. And the hydrate. But what was I talking about? Right, Alcina, it's revealed later on in her storyline that she actually had a thing for the player character Elaine's dad, and that part of the reason that she betrayed the queen was that King Gerard had seemingly gone missing at some point prior to the Zenoran Empire's overthrow of the Kingdom of Cornea, so she threw her lot in with them because they had promised her that they would be able to bring King Gerard back. If we were going just off of aesthetics with Alcina, she'd be up pretty high, because I do think that she is a smoking character. If you guys were here for the scene where if you guys were here for her actual boss fight, you would have known that, since I commented on her nice ass during that. But she's not a romanceable character, though. In fact, I think she's the only character on this list that is a straight villain all the way through the game. But knowing my compromised moral compass when it comes to things like this, I'll put her in. I'll put her in B tier. No, C tier. C tier for Alcina. That's as high as she gets. That's as high as she's gonna get. That's as high as you can get on attractiveness alone, pretty witch lady. Oh, next up we've got a fan favorite from what I've seen. We have Amalia, the absolute giantess of a arena champion. Now, when I first got Amalia in our playthrough, I wasn't super impressed with how she panned out, especially with how difficult she is to get, because to unlock her, you have to complete the entirety of the Drakenhold Arena campaign. So I can't remember if it was 40 or 50 levels of arena that you had to go through to get up to and then defeat her before she would join you. But despite the fact that she wasn't as strong as I had hoped she would be when you first got her, she is a tough frontline badass. And also, she's just an enjoyable character. She's lighthearted, takes everything in stride, fun character, and if you like big muscle women, she's probably up your alley. But unfortunately, that's not really my type. She is a lot of fun, though, so honestly, most of the characters in this game I don't think deserve a D tier. That's why I removed F tier from the list, because I genuinely don't think any of them deserve it. But since Amalia's not really my type, and I'm probably going to get eaten alive by the Unicorn Overlord fanbase for this, but I'm going to put her in D tier respectfully. Actually, no. You know what? C tier, because she left more of an impression on me than some of the other characters. Because a couple of the girls on this list didn't make that much of an impression at all. Amalia, at least with her big personality and even larger stature, definitely leaves an impression on people, because she's like twice the height of a player character. I just kind of wish that she was as OP when you got her as she was when you tried to... She is... Oh my god, she's the epitome of the boss when you fight them versus the boss when you unlock them meme. But she does at least reobtain most of that strength later on. Berengaria, Shamir, but in armor. She's going in at least B tier because I like the dark, spooky lady aesthetic. But she's also really standoffish. At least through the interactions that I got with her. But you do learn as to why she is that way. And she's actually the older sister of one of the characters that you unlock pretty early on. Is it Travis that's her younger brother? I think so. Hang on, I'm double checking to be sure of this. Yeah, it is Travis. And Travis is my boy. Because when Travis wasn't getting hit, well, thanks to his evasion, it was super rare for Travis to get hit. Granted, when he got hit, he usually got one shot, but hey, that's dodge builds for you. Berengaria was the opposite of that. She was shield, axe, all damage all the time. And she was actually, I can't remember if it was actually led by her, but she was a front player in one of my straight up go forward and kill it units in the game. I think that the biggest drawback to Berengaria for me is I'm actually not a fan of how her armor looks. I know a lot of people like the spiky, edgy armor that she has, but like the spikes on the end of the boot and the chest plate on it just look weird to me. But Berengaria herself, we'll put her in high B tier for now. She is definitely waifu material if you like the dark, broody waifu type. Berenice. Berenice, our badass crit monster of a mercenary. She's in the same kind of boat as Amalia, except you get her significantly earlier on. Oh, are we lagging out? Are we all good? My secondary monitor just made it look like the stream stuttered for a minute. Happy 4-year anniversary, Drax. Still can't escape the scuff, can we? Okay, I think that we're all good now, though. But alright. Berengaria. I believe that besides... Hang on. I know she's one of the earliest mercenaries that you can get. But I think... Where did he go? That's right, Aubin is the first mercenary you get. But Berenice is actually a different kind of mercenary from Aubin, because Aubin is an axe and shield, more tanky mercenary. Berengaria is... Not Berengaria, Berenice. Jesus. these two have names that are a little too similar for my liking. But Berenice is a greatsword mercenary, and she is a crit monster when she hits. So she was always a staple member of my team. But again, just like with Amalia, she's not really my type. She's definitely kind of a tomboy character, but it's more, and there are other tomboy characters on this list that I do like more, but I don't know, her like, what's the word, like Renaissance poofy outfit and aesthetic don't really do it for me. I think that we said back when we were playing it that she's like if Bernadetta from Fire Emblem Three Houses decided to work her way through all of her depression by working out every day and never missing a leg day. These two right here could 100% crush your head with their thighs if you ask them to. On accident. But yeah, unfortunately I don't see her getting any higher than C tier. Because I am 100% objectively correct in all my opinions on things. Don't at me. Chloe, Griffin Rider. I think she's the second Griffin Rider that you get. Chloe's at least going in A tier. And no, it's not just because she's probably the most stacked character in the game. That helps, but it's not entirely because of it. She's another member of the same Thieves Guild that I think that Travis was a part of. Or was it the other thief guy? No, it was Gamel. Gamel and Mandarin, the other two thieves that you fight early on, but they don't join you like Travis does, and you have to convince them to join you later. And that's when Chloe turns up. I have no idea how she fell in with that group, because her personality is completely the opposite of the rest of them. She's just kind of an upbeat, outgoing, honestly completely adorable, shorty character. And she can't get into the top tier because mechanically she does have one big drawback in our playthroughs, and that's she tended to die a lot. She was another frontline dodge tank just like Travis, but she got hit way more often than Travis did. But I can't put her any lower than A tier because of that, because I did really enjoy her character. She's super cute, and yeah, I don't have a ton more to say about that. I think that part of her backstory too was tied into she joined up with the thieves as to try and find a cure for a family member, I believe it was. Maybe this was a slightly poor idea to do nearly a full year after we played this game. Maybe I should have done this sooner, while it was still fresher in my mind. But hey, I planned this out, and I'm gonna stick to it. Maybe I should play the game again and play through actually all of the romance options. Would you guys even want to see that? Maybe I could pick the game back up and play through all of the romance paths like we did in frickin' Fire Emblem, where we got everybody to A tier and then picked 2 to marry. But I did. I know that when we were playing, that we did originally intend to play out Unicorn Overlord like what we did with Fire Emblem Three Houses, but I decided against it because it took like a full hour almost just to get through 2 characters. And with all of the characters here, I was like, this is going to be like 5 streams into itself, and we wanted to get to the finish line of the game. But if you guys would be down to see it, I'd 100% revisit the game from time to time to just do that if you want. But Chloe up next. She is one of the 2 characters, well, I guess technically 3, childhood friend characters in the game. And just because of my own personal tastes, the childhood friend is not going to be left at the bottom of the pack this time. Screw you, anime. But Chloe, among the childhood friends, is the tomboy of the group, you could say. So I'm at least gonna put her in B, and she's a character that's with you from the start of the game. So she always has a place on my team, and being a spear wielder, she is absolutely indispensable at getting rid of cavalry. She's a little bit of a stickler kind of character. Like, she gets on a lane for... She both gets on a lane for being too serious sometimes, and for being too goofy and lighthearted. So that's not my favorite thing in an anime waifu, but you can get where she's coming from with all of it. And I do love a childhood friend character, so... Can I put her higher? Okay, it's not... I would have to pull Berengaria down. Nah, she'll stay in B tier for now. The furry. Now we come to the furries, and... This one I don't think that I can put in the full line of question mark tier, because, well, there are enough fox furries out there that I know exactly what the appeal for this character was supposed to be. But for me, fox girls with anything beyond just the foxtail and ears do not do it for me. I do not like fully furry characters. So, I don't even remember this character's name off the top of my head because I didn't use her at all.
From Geico Subconscious News, I'm Tammy
What?
Racing Thoughts, broadcasting from your brain. Tonight's top worry: if something happens to your apartment and you need to, like, stay in a hotel and pay for
Ads!
it, that would be crazy, right? Art Palpitations has more.
That would be crazy, Tammy, but
Come
you
here,
got
come here.
surprisingly affordable
Ads, get out of here. I'm gonna eat you. Motherfuckers. There we go. We've got it back in, but yeah. I just had to check the wiki to remember this character's name, Deanna. And I refreshed myself on this earlier, but I just had no interest in this character from the start. I know that you run into her pretty early on in Bastorius, and she's... I mean, I don't even really remember her personality. I just know that she's the scantily clad fox lady, and that did not appeal to me in any way, shape, or form. Also, I'm just gonna be honest, most of the best rolls, as far as, like, class usability goes, didn't impress me in any way, shape, or form. Morard was good, but Morard was, like, the head best roll character, so no duh he was gonna be strong. And there is another character on this list that we'll be getting to later that you run into in Bastorius that is just so much better in every single way. But we will get to her when we get to her. Eltalinda, leader of the High Elves, and the face of the elf-human mating rituals meme. Gotta say, I get it. Oh, do I put her above Chloe? I think I actually will. No. Yes? No. No. No, and that's final. But Eltalinda is, of the two Elven Royals, definitely the more subdued and proper of the two. And she's definitely not a pushover of a character, though. Like, she steps the fuck up when she needs to. Ow. Hit me desk. And she's also, as far as her class goes on the battlefield, absolutely cracked when she can get off all of her spells at the same time. So she definitely earns a high tier spot in terms of everything overall. And you know, I don't want to jump out of order here, but it feels right to talk about Rosalinda and Eltalinda together, since they are the two leaders of the High Elves and Dark Elves. And they actually look quite I think they actually use the same model in game. But I just enjoy Rosalinda's character a little bit more. She is definitely more melee and offense focused over Eltalinda's magic and healing focus. But Rosalinda definitely pops off in combat more often than Eltalinda does. And I also just like her more fiery, outgoing personality more. Like, she makes absolutely... She doesn't hold back on saying what's on her mind. We'll put it like that. I mean, there's another character on this list that also falls into that, but we'll get to her when we get to her. That also just reminded me, Chloe is kind of in the opposite book, is because she'll say things that are on her mind but word it absolutely incorrectly. She's awkward and cute, on top of being completely wholesome and a loyal supporter of the Cornian cause once she realizes what's going on. So, she has earned her spot up there. And Fran, our other Griffin rider. She is a member of a trio of knights, I believe it's the Knights of the Rose, who join you just before you leave Cornia for the first time, I believe. And Fran... mechanically, she's borderline exactly the same as Chloe, because they're both Griffin riders. But I think that Fran just meshed better with the team that I put her in, because she wasn't the only frontline tank in it for the majority of the game, so she didn't have to take as many hits as Chloe did. I'm actually kind of realizing, looking at this, that there are a handful of characters in the game that are kind of counterparts to each other, because she's a lot like Chloe, but if Chloe was more of a tomboy character, because Chloe was still prim and proper, but fell in with a band of thieves, whereas Fran was a lot more tomboyish and outgoing, but was part of a member of a proper knightly order, or at least what was left of said knightly order. I like Fran a lot. She's also fairly awkward, just like Chloe is. Like, I've seen the confession animation with her, and she actually hides behind her griffin from Elaine. It's absolutely precious. But A tier waifu for Fran. Galadmir. Oh, do I put you in A tier or B tier, or do I make an elf tier to just give you guys all tonal whiplash from me playing Skyrim and being the most anti-elf dragon you've ever seen, to revealing my true colors that I like elves. I like elves a lot. Now, Galadmir is a little more mysterious and reserved of a character. I'm assuming that the further you get into her, into her bond mechanic with her, she probably comes out a bit more, but she's kind of just the mysterious mystic character of the elves. And I mean, she's not as, like, straight up, what's the word I'm looking for here? Oh man, I've completely blanked on the word I was going for here. Standoffish, that's what, she's not as, like, straight up standoffish a character as Ridiel, who we'll get to in a few minutes, is. But she's also not really the character who seems to click the most with Elaine, at least at the start. But she is extremely hot. I do have to give her that. She's also not a bad archer, because elves in general in this game are extremely useful to have on a team, because they can always both attack and heal. When typically you're stuck with a priest for healing that can't really attack at all, save for maybe once in an entire round of combat, elves are very useful. So I'm actually going to put Galadmir at the top of B tier. She's strong, useful character. I like the mystique around her. I'd actually really like to play through the rest of her Bond story at some point and see how she and Elaine come closer together. Okay. Next up we have Hilda, older sister of Prim, and the only Wyvern Rider on this list, I believe. So she's gotta get at least B tier for being both a redhead anime waifu and a Wyvern Rider. If you've been around me long enough, you know my opinions. She is actually probably the first character on this list that is kind of the stoic, no-nonsense type. In fact, I think she's another character that you have to fight to actually get her to join you, because she doesn't believe in the Cornian cause at the start. And I unfortunately did have to learn the hard way that Wyvern Riders are not as good at being dodge tanks as Griffin Riders are. So she is more of a backfield character, but she can put out a hell of a lot of damage on her turn. She's gonna go in at least B tier, because she is a really pretty character. I'm not the biggest fan of her, like, stoic, no-nonsense, kind of berates Elaine a lot early on behavior, but I can't put her any lower than that. She is kinda my type. Queen Elenia. Why are you on this list? You're not a romanceable character in this game either. Also, you're Elaine's mother. Why are you here? Question mark tier. What the fuck? Who made this list and what were they thinking? I'm not even gonna ask that. I know what they were thinking. I mean, she is kinda hot, but she's got no place on this list. Kitra, another character that's kind of got a split shared character role with somebody else, which is Nina here. We'll actually move up because we'll do Kitra and Nina at the same time. Ooh, scandalous. Shut up, Drek. But Kitra and Nina kind of fill a similar relation to each other, like how Chloe and Fran do, and that Kitra is the outgoing, loud, and kind of bombastic member of the Knights of the Rose, and she is a hammerer, while Nina is, well, she's kind of more your just typical tomboyish character. She's not the more, like, loud, outgoing tomboyish character, but she is still a bit of a tomboy. And both of them are very small hammer wielders. I mean, Morden was my usual hammer wielder, but you guys know, I used all three of the hammers on different squads because hammers, when they hit, kill. It's just dead enemy. You get hit by a hammer, you're dead. And if a hammer kills an enemy, they get a chance to take another swing at somebody else. It's fucking great. I love the hammers. But also, in terms of their parallels, with Kitra being a member of the Knights of the Rose, and Nina actually falls in with a different band of thieves called the Rock Rats, who actually, if I'm remembering correctly, as a whole, wind up turning over a new leaf and joining the main character's cause. I do like Nina a slight bit more than Kitra, because, well, one, Nina doesn't threaten you as often as Kitra does, because Kitra tries to take a swing at you with her hammer a few times. But Kitra also doesn't get, like, any real character focus. Again, probably outside of her romance route. Whereas Nina has an entire, like, chapter of the story centered pretty much entirely around her. It is a side quest line, but still, it's an entire quest line centered around her and her family and why she fell in with the Rock Rats. But I think that that's a fair disparity for them to be holding out the top and bottom B and C tier. Ridiel, you're probably going in C tier as well. Probably above, well, maybe not. Maybe not above Alcina, because Alcina is stupidly hot, but Ridiel is a half-elf who is human racist. Not a thing that I've experienced before, but she spends a lot of when you're first introduced to her, like, griping over the fact that her mom fell in love with a human, and complaining about how... I can see how it would cause problems for somebody living in elven society, but still, she complains about it a little bit too much to characters that really have no impact on that at all. She's an elf archer, so she's definitely a usable character. And I have seen, like, clips from her romance route that she does seem to come around on it. But of the elven characters in the game, unless I'm missing somebody else down here, besides dear Rylanor, who we'll talk about in just a second, Ridiel's probably my least favorite of the elf characters in the game. So she can stay down there, I think. Yeah. Rylanor. Do I put you in S tier, Rylanor? You won't be alone up there, but you know what? I will put Rylanor up in S tier. She is my favorite of the elf characters. And I will just straight up go ahead and admit that I have played through her romance story, and it is super sweet. I like the way that she and Elaine play off of each other. She's a little bit of a depresso character early on, because she feels that she's failed the Elven Kingdoms as a defender. But as she builds up with Elaine in terms of her relationship, she comes back into her own and gains her confidence back. And if you've seen me play Fire Emblem and know how much of a simp I am for Camilla in that, she is a character that reminds me a lot of Camilla, and not just in terms of her appearance. Which, funny enough, in the character editor, you can actually make her look even more like Camilla. One of her hair color styles is literally the same color as Camilla's hair. This is not me being personally influenced in any way, shape, or form. Shut up, this is an objective list. She's also an elven fencer, which is a weird class to use, but they do put out decent damage. I don't think that they're the best dodge tanks, even though they do essentially get a free dodge at the start of the match. Their regular evasiveness isn't enough to rely on that for, but the fact that all damage they do is also magical damage means that she can cut through armored opponents way easier than any other sword wielder would. But to be honest, it's her personality, the story with Elaine, and the fact that she is super, super hot that gets her all the way up there over the usability of Elven Fencer in combat. Leah, she is another character who is... I can't remember. I don't think she's... It's not Aubin. That's her older brother. Ah, it's Magellan, our other brigand boy who uses a two-handed sword. I mean, I used Leah on my team a fair bit as a backup archer for one of my secondary units. But I'm gonna be real, I don't think that the crossbowman is nearly as good as the regular archers are. I get that they gave them a shield so that they can kinda sorta be a frontline archer, but I don't know why you would ever do that, especially since there are so many things later in the game that can just mulch through armor. And, I mean, I guess you do get her early on into the second act of the game, so there aren't super too many things that she can't cope with at that point. But I don't know, Leah didn't leave a huge impression on me. She's definitely a tomboy, but she definitely fits more of the shouty and constantly over her brother's bullshit kind of tomboy character, and I liked Magellan. He's a bit of a goof, but I did like him. So I'll probably put her just above... I'll put her between Berenice and Amalia, because I like Amalia's personality a lot more, but I do think that she is a cuter character than Berenice is. Oh, Melisandre, you're hot, but man are you weird. Where do I put you? Granted, she is a swordsmaster, and so long as the opponent's not armored, they're dead. Just assume that when you throw a dual-wielding swordmaster at something, if it's not got a shield, it's not gonna be there when they're done with it. And swordmasters are also pretty decent dodge tanks, too. But, Melisandre comes on way too strong when you meet her. And Chloe comes on strong when you meet her too, but she's just fumbling her words while swearing an oath of fealty that sounds like a proposal. Melisandre straight up proposes to you on sight. And when you reject her, offers to be one of your consorts if she couldn't marry you. Now, I will admit I have not played through her romance storyline either, so I don't know if that changes, but she really does just kind of come off when you first meet her. She is the last member of her house, and her house is a lower tier noble house, so she does kind of come off like she's just trying to climb the ladder. Oh, she is really hot though, so You know what, I think she'll get the same treatment as Ridiel, in that middle of C tier, purely off looks and viability on actually taking her with you through the campaign. But I don't know, her personality did not snag me. And speaking of nobles, Monica. Monica. I don't hate your character, but I feel like you're better with Clive, which is funny enough because she and Clive were, prior to the war, actually betrothed. So I kind of feel like she doesn't really fit with Elaine. And I did play through a significant amount of her and Clive's bond roots together. And they do seem to be pretty well adjusted for each other. Not to mention they both absolutely wreck shit when they're on the same team together. So I'm going to put her... Also, Clive is absolute bro. I'm going to put her at bottom of C tier because she is attractive and she does... there's not anything with her personality that I dislike, per se, but it doesn't feel right to try to sweep in and carry off your bro's woman. Besides, if I wanted a knightly waifu, we have Miriam. Miriam is every bit the archetypical knight waifu. She is proper, she is stoic, she is upholding the rights of all of the people in the realm of Cornea. In fact, she is the leader of what's left of the Rose Knights. So she is a member of the same team as Fran and Kitra are. And I think that she actually gets a spot smack in the middle between them. I do like Miriam's character. She's a little bit dense to certain things. Like, she's not the most... What's the word I'm looking for? Man, I am fumbling my words tonight. Can't blame me, I'm being distracted by all the pretty anime women. But she's a little bit dense and literal in how she takes things, but that just kind of adds to her charm, if you ask me. Speaking of charming characters, Oakley's. She's another character you kind of have to work your butt off to get, but you do get her significantly earlier than Amalia. You just have to gather the proper amount of, I think it's star shards, to convince Oakley's to join with you. And of course you have to already have Sharon on your team. But you should automatically have had Sharon on your team already by the time you even think about unlocking Oakley's. And as an angelic swordsman, she is also... This game's actually pretty full of decent dodge tank builds. But unlike most of the other dodge tanks, she can actually take a hit or two so long as it's not from an arrow. Now, Oakley's is... do I put her in high or mid B tier? Because all of the angels are at least making it into B tier, because they're all very attractive, if you do ask me. It's a little unfortunate that with the appearance editor, the mirror item that you get in the game, that you can't change the color of their wings, because I think that would have been a fun mechanic, but... Oakley's is also a little bit... I say a little bit because not completely a kind of... not even a little bit. She's definitely a stickler character, but she's a little bit of a stick in the mud. Like, she's very serious a lot of the time, just like Chloe and Hilda are. So that might drag her down just a little bit. I do think I'll put her above Chloe, though. Also, Oakley's has a really nice ass. Moving on. Prim. Prim is Hilda's little sister and is one of the 3, I believe, priestesses on the list. I'm pretty sure that I actually had Prim and Hilda in the same team for the majority of the game. Priestesses are always great to have in a backline if you can keep them there. Because if you have a tank that's going to be eating damage, you want a priest there to keep their health topped off. Now, Prim... she's definitely getting high points just on cuteness and attractiveness alone. She's also... You know, she might make it into A tier, because she's every bit the kind of adorably airheaded character that Chloe and Fran can be. So yeah, I think that Prim makes it to A tier. I've also seen her romance playthrough at some point in the past, and she actually doesn't even realize that she's being proposed to at first, because she completely airheads it in the moment and doesn't realize until she basically plays it all out again. So, sorry, Hilda, but Prim takes the lead here. And I just remembered, I was misnaming Liza over here. Liza is Magellan's little sister because Leah is the sworn sword of Elaine's cousin Virginia, who we will get to later in the list. Leah, unfortunately, did not leave a huge impact on me, because she's much more of a subdued kind of background-ish character, so I really should play through her romance as well to see if she comes out a little bit more from that. But she's really just kind of Virginia's second fiddle in a lot of scenes that she's in. She is a blade master, just like Melisandre. So she's definitely a damage dealer, but also Leah died a lot more than Melisandre did in my playthroughs. And I don't know, maybe she's just unlucky, but Leah, you are cute, but without much more than that to go off of, I think that you're going to have to go right next to Liza and apologize to her for me for calling her Leah this whole time. Ramona, the were-owl, the owl lady. Bird boobs. Why? Who thought of this? Who thought of this? Yeah, you can clip me on that for all you want. She's staying in the uber question mark tier. She also, and I don't know if she's like supposed to actually be old, but she comes across as like a granny type character. So why? Why? Who on the dev team wanted to hook up with the granny bird? Also, she's a Bestral, and the were-owls are basically Bestral priests, which, while they could be a little bit annoying to deal with their shielding, she just did not earn a spot on my team ever. Oh boy, I need a drink. Hang on. Yapping a bit too much here. Stretch. Rhaenys was my favorite of the angels. She's also an angel archer, and the only one that you get. And angelic archers put out magical ranged damage. Granted, they do have the drawback of angels effectively being the opposite of Bestrels. Bestrels get stat boosts at night, angels get stat boosts during the day. But being an archer, she was easy enough to put in the back line and not have to worry about her being a good dodge tank. But with her still being an angel, she had a way better chance of dodging most ranged attacks than a lot of other characters. She's a bit more of a prim and proper character than somebody like Oakleys, who kind of comes across as like the tomboy of the angels, but is still also very prim and proper in terms of how she goes about things. But that might just be because angels are the borderline embodiment of order, so... Rhaenys was also just an absolute cutie. And the way that you meet her early on in the game, having to help her, because she originally kind of like brushes off joining you, and then gets in way over her head, and needs bailed out, but immediately realizes, oh, I kind of fucked up. I was a little bit too standoffish. Maybe we should join up together. I appreciate that in a character, that when they fuck up and know it, they don't, like, double down on it. Also, her romance path with Elaine is pretty fucking cute. She's another one that I played through off stream just to see what it would be like. So she's gonna at least get a strong A tier. Scarlet is the other childhood friend character who you start the game off with, and she is actually an intrinsic part of the story all the way through, since she is the princess of one of the neighboring nations to Cornea. And she is your starting priest, so always make sure to keep her in the back line of whoever's team she winds up being attached to, and she'll keep them topped off on health. She's also one of the priests who actually gets access to an attacking spell before being upgraded into a high priest. So she's definitely always useful to keep around for both healing and magic attacks. Now, where do I put her? She's definitely she's definitely not the tomboy type character as far as childhood friends go, like Chloe is. But I do really like her design, and no, it's not just because she's like Chloe and has big bazongas, though she does have that. It also kind of feels like the way that the game was written was kind of intended for her and Elaine to be together. So Scarlet gets high B tier at least, I would say. You know, I'll put her above Berengaria even. She was a very likable character. She is super intrinsic to the story, so you have to deal with her a lot in cutscenes throughout the game. So it's very good that she is an enjoyable character to keep around. So yeah, I think that she deserves that at the least. I have not played through her romance route. I know, shame. Stone the Dragon for claiming to be a childhood friend trope enjoyer, but not having played through the romance routes of any of the childhood friend characters. I am ashamed. I am a fraud. Bury me with rocks if you must. But I do think that as far as the childhood friends go, Scarlet will probably be the first one that I play through. Well, if you insist. Wait, what do you mean?
Correct your posture.
I mean, if you gotta have me do a stretch, then sure, yeah, why not? Wait, hey! Do not Wow, it's fuck. Hey. Man, my clavicle is strong. Hey! Don't stone me because I'm right. Stone me because I literally asked for it. Like an absolute moron. You guys probably won't believe me when I say this, but I genuinely forgot that I had that toggle when I said that. Stone me, please. We stone him and he cries bullying. We simply cannot win. No, I realized right after I said it. I was like, oh crap, I actually have a toggle for that. So thank you. I deserved that. I will endeavor to be better. I'll write a twit longer about it right now. As soon as we're done here. And I will endeavor to be better and not give you my completely objective and totally correct opinions on anime waifus in the future until I have actually played through all of their romance routes. Oh, 1 second. I hear a cat. Dang cats dragging their toys, skittering across the floors in here. I see you, come back. Sharon. She is, I believe, the second priestess that you get in the game. And she is the one that is actually personally tied to Oakleys, because you meet the two of them at the same church, because Sharon is the priestess at the church, and Oakleys is the guardian. Cat, did you immediately turn around and dive back into what I was shooing you away from? 1 second again. This cat is playing in his water now. What are you doing? Animals. Don't know what I'd do without them, though. What was I talking about, Sharon? Oh, right. She and Oakleys are very close friends. She is about as close to a quiet and reserved character as you get, as we have among these characters here, without being completely overshadowed. Because she's quiet and soft-spoken, just like Leah is, but the scenes that she's in, she doesn't really get, like, pushed to the background of. She is also very pretty. I don't think I'll put her above Oakleys, but she gets a solid mid-B tier. Oh crap, looking at the characters we have left, there actually is a fourth priestess that I forgot about, which is unfortunate because personality-wise she is completely my type, but we'll talk about her in just a minute. Because before that, we have Sylvie, the druid, who should be my type, but she kind of falls into a similar role as Ramona. She feels, and it's probably not helped by her horrendous posture. She is completely scrimp all the time, hunched over with her staff. And I know that I've said it while we were streaming, but if she stood upright like the other druid characters you run into in the game, she'd be way higher on this list because the unnamed enemy druids are smoking. absolute pains in the ass to deal with thanks to their debuffs, but very hot. Sylvie, Sylvie, Sylvie. Do I put you in D tier with Deanna? I don't think I will, but she's going at the bottom of C tier. Because D tier I'm reserving for characters that I genuinely have no interest in. And Sylvie's a bit of a weirdo, and also kind of gives grandma vibes like Ramona does. But I think that's also just because she lives in the woods by herself and has no people skills. And I'm gonna put her above Monica because she's not somebody else's girl that you basically have to steal from them. And you know what? Again, I'll actually put her above Berenice too. Because again, if she would fix her posture, she'd actually be incredibly pretty. Tatiana, the last of the priestesses in the game, who I actually forgot was a priestess because with how her personality is, she doesn't really fit the bill. Because she is a plague doctor. She is a borderline yandere plague doctor, which should, if you know me, put her in at least the higher tiers. But there's one thing about her that drags her down, and that's her aesthetic. I don't mind the sleepy, bags under the eyes look, but the green hair and like bright red outfit she wears really clashes with her personality. In fact, in one of my playthroughs, I used the, well, not one of my playthroughs, but the playthrough I'm doing to potentially play through the romances from where you save right before doing the romance quest. I used the appearance editor item to change her hair to black, and it works wonders. So I probably will like Tatiana a fair bit more once I've actually played through her romance, assuming she keeps that dark, mysterious yandere persona. But I think for now... Oh, do I put her in high C tier or bottom of B tier? I'm gonna put her in bottom of B tier because she could be great. But we will just have to find out about that. Also, probably going into the lower end of B tier, Humorous. I believe she's the youngest angel of the ones that you deal with, but she also has a big drawback to her in that she fills the exact same role as Oakley's does. She's the exact same class of character, but she also betrays you early on in the Albion questline. Granted, she does it because she thinks it's the right thing for Albion. She's not doing it out of malice. And she is immediately remorseful when she realizes she fucked up, which I can appreciate that all of the angels are like that, and none of them are completely stuck up, I'm right, you're wrong, no matter what happens all the time. She's really cute, though. But plotline-wise, she does kind of just have her one mission and then disappear again from relevance. And she is the last one that you obtain. So she doesn't have any... Oh, wait, Humorous is also close friends with Scarlet. That's right, I remember now. She betrays you because she thinks that it's the best way to save Scarlet and Albion. Okay, I won't put her as low as I was going to at the very bottom of B tier because I'm remembering she has her whole side plot lines with Scarlet now. But she's not going to get as high as Oakley's because Oakley's has basically the entire game with you, whereas Humorous basically joins you like only a handful of missions before the end of the game. I'll put her just above Tatiana, I think. Because all of the angels are hot. I will stamp that right here. Which, if Crimson were out here, she'd probably be side-eyeing me, smirking at me. Because, well, she already knows I think angels are hot since I married one. But, yeah, I think that, at least until I play through her romance and learn a bit more about her, she's gonna stay in low B tier. Unifi S tier. Do I put Unifi above Rylanor? Maybe. Unifi is peak tomboy. Literally the only drawback to her character is that she's from Bastorius and thus enjoys the cold. And that is not something that I particularly enjoy. But she is an indispensable archer. She's absolutely adorable personality-wise. She is peak tomboy, as I said. And she's also really hot. If you saw my response to the first time that she turned around in the game, I was borderline flashbanged by this character's gigantic ass. So, don't at me. I'm not I'm not putting her up here just because I'm thirsting over this character, okay? Also, her plotline does get a little weird because it, like, kind of implies that she used to be a Bestral but isn't anymore, since Morard used to be a human but is now a Bestral. But that plotline doesn't seem to go anywhere beyond the slight implication. She's also another character that I have played through the romance for, and she and Elaine are absolutely adorable together. So, Unifi, top tier waifu. Even beyond being just a thick tomboy short stack. Virginia, we talked about you earlier when we were talking about Leah. Do I put you in question mark tier for being Elaine's cousin who grew up with him and looks suspiciously like his mother? Or do I just pull out the Camilla Daki, tell everybody to get bent, and put you in high B tier because you are attractive and definitely my type of character? Fuck it, we ball. You guys know what I'm about. I will compromise the character's moral compass if it suits my own needs if I need to. Granted, I have not played the romance route for Virginia, so that could get weird. But again, Camilla's my favorite waifu in anything that I've played that allows romance like that, so fight me. You lack a moral compass, so we're well accustomed. Hey! I played as close to a good guy as I could in Skyrim. I tried to stay on the right path in Skyrim, so long as you think that joining the Stormcloaks was the right path. Played yourself in Skyrim? I did absolutely no such thing. If I were playing myself, I would have had no problem with the use of necromancy around me. Do you look at me? Do you see what I am? I'm also married to a vampire and played a vampire slayer. Try explaining that to my wife. Oh, she knows. She knows exactly what I did in Skyrim. I mean, she was present for at least a small bit of a couple of those streams, though she didn't say anything. She just sat there and judgmentally glared at me. But nah, Skyrim was an absolute load of fun. And I do really want to play another round of Skyrim at some point. Probably not for a while yet, though. But I do kind of want to play another playthrough from the Imperial side of things and see just how bad of a character I can be. Because I was trying my best to obey all of the laws. I want to play through Skyrim and just throw morality out the window. But that is for another time. And Yana is S tier. Yana is obviously S tier. She is the character that we actually married in our Unicorn Overlord playthrough. And again, just like with Rylanor and Unifi, and even with Chloe and I actually might move Chloe up into S tier because she is a very enjoyable, cute character. But no, I think I will keep it just the top 3 in the S tier. But Yana is aesthetically everything that I would have liked in a witch character in this game. She is peak witch, and you are all there. You all know that the hip wiggle was absolutely distracting for me. Now the problem is, with these 3, I don't know who to put in first. I really do just enjoy all 3 of these characters that much. Like everybody else down below, besides the double question mark category down here, is in some approximation of an ordered listing. But S tier, I kind of really like them all a very similar amount. For different reasons for a lot of them, but Yana is also, what's the word I'm looking for? She plays into the mysterious, dark and broody archetype character, kind of like Berengaria. Berengaria for the dark and broody, and, excuse me, Galadmir for the mystic, mysterious character. But she's also... she's a character that you have present from very early on in the game. She joins you in the first act. She's an incredibly useful spellcaster. And she gets super attached to Elaine really quickly, too. And I think that she was actually part of Elaine's team for my entire playthrough, which is one of the reasons why she was one of the easiest characters to romance in it. Because they were basically never apart. And also, her romance playthrough with Elaine is extremely... her romance route with Elaine is extremely cute. With Elaine taking an arrow for her and she freaks out on him because what if it had been poisoned? What was he thinking? And, you know, as it goes. And then their final confession is one of the ones that actually... From what I've seen, it looks like some of them don't really have as much extra animation put into them, but some of them do. Like, again, I said that Scarlet seems to be the character that was borderline intended for Elaine to marry, and they have special animation through it. Virginia has a special animation, and Berengaria also has special animation. Yana is one of the characters who doesn't have a special animation per se, but it is more animation than some of the more side characters get. Can we get an F in the chat, though? She does have a singular drawback to her character, though. And those of you who watched the playthrough are going to know what it was. When you upgrade her from a witch to a sorceress, she loses the hip wiggle animation, and that is a borderline sin. Can we get an F in chat for the hip wiggles? A wiggly F. Thank you, Tungsten. Hey! 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 I didn't deserve to be stoned for that. Hey! Man, my shoulder is strong. How's Rune Factory going? I actually haven't played it in like 2 weeks at this point, I think. The last thing that I did was finish unlocking the Winter Village. And the next couple of things I'm gonna do in that, I'm probably gonna... excuse me, got something in my throat here. But, this is continuance of the earlier rocks. Oh, okay, thank you, Tungsten. But in Rune Factory, I've unlocked all of the seasonal villages. Was about the last thing I did. And I'm only like 2 or 3 weeks into spring, so I think what I've decided to do next time I pick it up is I'm going to put the storyline on hold for a little bit and just focus on making sure all of my villages are up and running nicely. And then once summer rolls around in-game, I'll probably start pushing for the story again. But, yes, this is my tier list of all of the waifus in Unicorn Overlord. So, honestly, most of the characters in this game, besides the, like, 3 that we've got down here, are definitely, like, at least understandable waifu candidates. I really do want to go back and play through it. Man, if only I had the time to go back and play through it, like, during the week to get through all of the romances. I might have to break it up and do that, or we can do that on stream some point in the future, like break up the streams to play through all of the different romances. It is funny, though, that they added 2 non-romanceable characters to this list. One of them understandable. Alcina hot. Alcina very hot. But why is Queen Elenia here? Why is Mom here? Also, why bird? Why bird boobies? Do not want. In Rune Factory rices. I think you actually brought that up before, Mitsuko, when we were talking about that. I do need to expand my rice terraces. Because I do have some rice, but I need to expand it and get more. I keep looking up at my A tier and feeling bad for putting the characters that are there in A tier and not in S tier, but all of them miss out by just a hair, essentially. Because I really do love all of these top characters. The ones in B tier are good, but all of them have at least 1 or 2 things that kind of draw them back. C tier either didn't leave much of an impression on me, or they've got a big negative drawback. And then D tier is for Deanna, who I just don't like in any aspect. And then Ramona and Queen Elenia is... what the fuck? Why? Who picked this? Why did you do this? You know? Hey, thank you for watching. If you like what you saw here, feel free to hit those like and subscribe buttons down below for more in the future. And if you want to catch me live, check out my Twitch link down below. I stream there every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Until next time, rock on, everybody!